Alright, quick disclaimer. This isn't a video about hating on the JavaScript ecosystem. I actually think it's pretty great for shipping fast and getting your foot in the door. This video is more about my personal experience, how I started feeling disconnected with what I was building, and how switching stacks might have just changed how I think about programming. I was pretty deep in the JavaScript ecosystem. At that time, I thought that I needed to quickly finish learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, even though I already had some experience with them from a few years ago. I had this weird mindset where I wanted to rush through the basics so I could get to what I thought was the real path. That meant learning React and Next.js and picking up TypeScript along the way, mostly just to prove to myself that I actually knew what I was doing, while simultaneously pretending that more abstraction equals being smarter. And honestly, I learned all of it pretty fast, except the smarter thing. But after a while, something felt off. I realized that I hadn't actually made any real projects of my own. I noticed it, but then kinda ignored it. I just kept watching tutorials and building follow-along stuff instead. Looking back, I had basically trapped myself in this loop of learning an abstract-heavy stack without really building much of anything. And it's not like I didn't try to build stuff. I made an Apple Notes clone, a to-do app, and I even started a Discord-like chat app that I ended up abandoning halfway through. The one major problem was that I didn't really understand what was happening under the hood. The WebSockets that I implemented felt like some magic I didn't really understand. And SQL behind my database felt like some ancient sorcery being packaged into a low-level ORM like Drizzle. Things worked, but I didn't really know why and how they worked. That left a lingering thought at the back of my head. This is way too much abstraction. You don't actually know what the hell you're doing. And around that time, a random YouTube recommendation from boot.dev about learning Go made me pause and review my options. I remember thinking, wait, are there actually other ways people do backend besides just using TypeScript for fast development? That question spiraled into me realizing that maybe I wasn't even doing what I actually wanted to be doing in the first place. And honestly, the answer was a hesitant no. So I started looking for what to do next, and naturally, Go kept popping up. Not because I understood the language deeply or anything, I honestly just kept seeing it everywhere and people kept praising it for its simplicity and concurrency, especially for backend work. Learning Go itself ended up being kind of a unique experience for me. Normally I just throw on a YouTube video, follow along in my editor, build something, and that's how I'd learn. But this time I started with Tour of Go, which is basically an interactive website that walks you through the language with explanations and examples built in. I followed the Tour of Go for as long as I could, and then I hit a wall. There were a few things I just couldn't wrap my head around. And at the same time, I really wanted to get my hands dirty instead of just passively learning Go. So I decided to build my first small project, a CLI-based JSON storage task manager with a flag parsing system. Since I wanted to use as few abstractions as possible, I hand-coded the logic to parse the command and the flag from the raw string. It wasn't pretty, but it worked, and I learned a ton from it. This was also my first time working with a in-file storage, which was kind of funny because before that, everything I built was always hosted in the cloud. After finishing the project, I ended up dropping the Tour of Go entirely. There were still concepts like interfaces that I didn't fully understand yet, and I realized I needed a different way of learning. So I switched to a different learning platform called boot.dev. It's technically paid if you want the interactive features, but a lot of the written content is free, which is what I mostly used. And whenever I got stuck, I'd also watch some of their YouTube videos to fill in the gaps. After getting more comfortable with Go itself, I started learning how to build HTTP servers in Go. And that part was honestly really interesting. For the first time in a while, I actually felt like, okay, I kind of know what I'm doing. I finished that course not too long ago, and recently I also built a small Notes API backend in Go. It's a simple CRUD app with versioning and authentication, and right now I'm planning to go even deeper by building more stuff on top of it. So what changed? Honestly, not that much, but also kind of everything. I still don't understand a lot of what I'm doing, and some things still feel mysterious. But now, even when I don't fully understand something, I at least know where the boundaries are. I can reason about what's happening when the code breaks instead of immediately panicking and asking an AI. I can see cause and effect more clearly. If I change something, I can usually predict what's going to happen. And that's the real difference. I finally feel like I'm doing something I want to put my energy into. I don't think it's really about JavaScript versus Go. It's more about what kind of developer you want to be and what kind of path you want to walk. For me right now, it's about slowing down, really understanding what I'm building, and not getting lost in layers of abstractions I don't fully grasp yet. For someone else, it might be about moving fast, shipping quickly, and building things with less code, and that's totally valid too. At the end of the day, both approaches have their place. I'm curious, what do you guys prefer and what are you learning right now? Signing out.